YouTube, Hillbilly Rideshare, coming at you live. I screwed up my last stream. I'm not even sure it got posted, but I was talking about when the Uber service comes to a new area, comes to an area where it hasn't been. And yes, it's 2018 and we didn't get Uber here until 2017. Not even a year yet. I got a call. A friend of mine gave a friend of his my phone number. And he called and he asked me about a ride. Said he had downloaded the app but wasn't sure about it. So I told him when he was ready for a ride, pull up the app and follow through, and if it doesn't work for some reason, give me a call, I'll walk you through it. So about 10 or 15 minutes later, I got a call or a ping on Uber. It was him. Took the ride, gave him a ride to his destination. He asked about tipping. I said, well, you can tip cash or you can do it in app. He said, okay. He said, how do I do it? I said, well, you know, it'll ask you to rate the ride. I said, 5 stars, yeah, thumbs up, 5 stars is what we're looking for. I said, at that point, you can add a tip if you like. He said, oh, okay. So he gets out. About 15 minutes later or so, I get a text message from him saying that he figured out the tip, but couldn't figure out the star rating. I texted him back and told him that's fine. He's got some time if he wants to deal with it later. Don't worry about it, you know, that kind of thing. So a little while later, he texted me back again and said, I accidentally gave you a 3-star rating. How can I change it? I don't see any place to change it. I said, well, you can't. But if you want to try, give Uber a call, see what they tell you. Explain the situation. Now, I really wish I had enough rides where it didn't really matter, but I don't. You know, so I'm kind of watching my sorry, trying to get to the Uber app. So I'm watching my, you know, I watch it. It has been at 4.92 for quite some time, and I've had nothing but 5-star ratings. It hasn't budged. It hasn't went above 4.92, and I know that, you know, it'll never get back to perfect unless I have perfect for years and years, or however long it takes. And I haven't reached the 500 ride mark yet because, you know, doing this on the weekends, getting 5 or 10 rides a night, if I'm lucky. Sometimes 5 or 10 rides a weekend. I think I'm only up to 5 last night. So, you know, it's stuck at 4.92, but one 3-star rating drops it to 4.91. You know, it sucks. There it is. Yes, I know 4.91 is still a pretty good rating. I understand that, but the only real reason I care about it is that anything other than a 5-star at this point affects it immediately. A 5-star basically just keeps it where it is, and it's really hard for it to go up. Even a 1/10 of a point, it's hard for it to go up. I it's just the way it is. It'll drop in a heartbeat with a, anything less than a 5. But maybe once, whenever I'm, if I get up to 5 or 10,000 mark on rides, a less than 5-star rating won't really affect it. But anyway, just the inexperience, and you run into that a lot. You have people who have never used it. They've heard about it. It's been around. That's just kind of, it's Uber. Everybody's heard of it. Even people who have never used it, and they've heard things about it. And, anything from, well, I didn't think they allowed tipping, or I didn't think they wanted you to tip, or whatever. Hey, I'm all the time, man, dealing with that question. And I think a lot of it, I'm sure people are dealing with it even in the larger cities. And then you have people that have been using it for a long time who used it before there was even an option to tip, who don't tip because of that. They just haven't realized that they can tip now. But it's still challenging in new areas. People don't know it's there. I stopped to get gas and was waiting in line I had to go to the store to get some stuff, and was waiting in line, and someone had prepaid. I guess they didn't use a credit card. They just went in the store with cash and prepaid for a pump. Oh, excuse me. Prepaid for $5 or something for a boat on pump 1. Well, they told the cashier pump 1, but they were actually on pump 10. So they go out and pump $5 on pump 10, and then realize their mistake. Now, my initial thought was, what a dumbass. Then after giving it a second thought, well, 1, 10. Could be an easy mistake to make. And then I automatically kind of assumed that it was him that made the mistake. Maybe he told the cashier. I doubt it. I don't think so, the way he was talking. I don't think it was the cashier's fault. But easy mistake to make. Thought it was a little funny. I'm headed out. I'm kind of repeating my other video that I meant to pause, and actually it ended for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I had the wrong thing on the screen. It's touch screen. Meant to pause it, ended it. But I'm kind of seriously thinking about going up to Morgantown, which is an area, it's about an hour from where I live, and I've kind of changed my strategy a bit, because and I've mentioned it before, it's a university town, lots of college kids, and they're all on the weekend, they're all going to and from the same place. Not a single bar, but all of the college bars are located in like a 2 or 3 block area. And they're located on a street called High Street. As of late, if you stop on High Street to drop someone off or pick someone up, there is a more than average chance that you are going to get a ticket, as I have found out. That's experience talking. And you may or may not know that you've gotten a ticket for a couple of weeks. They sort of show up in the friggin' mail. It's like a reverse Christmas gift. I don't know why Morgantown has targeted. It's almost like they want these kids to drive drunk. But what are you going to do? Pay the ticket and leave, I guess, or do your thing. Now, last ticket I got was $30. I wasn't even in that town driving. I was in another town driving and got a rider that wanted to go there, and all I did was drop them off. And I mean, the ticket had to have been written almost as soon as I stopped, because the time on the ticket was like 6:45, and the time in the app that I ended the ride, that I completed the ride, was like 6:46. So, I mean, it was almost like they were looking for me. It's like, hey, there's that SOB. Let's get him. Write him a ticket. As soon as his brake lights come on, start writing that sumbitch. Yeah, well, don't know if they're just targeting me, if they're targeting Uber drivers in general. It seems like they're targeting Uber drivers in general, which is not going to be a good thing, because I am no longer going to drop off or pick up on High Street. The dropping off part is going to be a little easier to handle than the not picking up part. And the reason for that is one thing. It's going to piss off the kiddies. They're not going to be happy because I can't drop them off in the front door. They're not going to be happy because I can't pick them up. And getting a drunk college student out of the bar is like a hair in a biscuit. And if you've never had a hair in a biscuit, trust me, it's hard to get out. Alright, well, I am actually not planning, well, I don't know what I'm planning on doing. If I start getting rides, I'll stay here maybe, work my way up or something. But I'm about 25-ish miles south of Morgantown. I'm just kind of popping in here. I want to get a new SD card for my dash cam. One that's supposedly more compatible. If I can find one, if I can't, I'll order it. Just anyway. Yeah, the problem's going to be, if someone's in the car and you tell them, hey, I can't drop you off on High Street, then most likely, they're going to say, okay, I'll just pop out here. They may or may not give you a shit rating, but more importantly, they likely won't give you a friggin' tip. And making a drunk college kid walk a block or a half a block will most certainly get you a bad rating and a shit tip. Well, I say shit tip, no tip. The college kids, some of them are pretty, wealthy. Money isn't an object. Some of them, because they come from all over the country. It's a university. There's like 30,000 of the little peckerheads, and they come. Some of them come from pretty fairly wealthy families, and some do not. So tipping there is kind of spotty. It comes and goes. It's some nights are good with tips up there. Some it isn't, but I try not to fault people for not tipping there, because I don't know their situation. Maybe they can't afford to tip. But in my opinion, if I'm taking you to a bar or picking you up from a bar, you can afford to tip. Just the way it is. They're not giving out $2 beers up there. You know, if you can afford to drop $200 on a bar tab, you can afford a couple of bucks for your driver. But even with that, I try to cut them a little bit of slack. And some of them you can tell, you know, they're there for an education, and they're just, you know, you're not taking them to a bar, you're taking them, you know, shopping or to their job. And they're working their way through school, and a lot of them, you know, they're having to work. They have to work to be able to afford to be there. And those people, I don't mind that they don't tip. And some of them you can tell that that's the case. A lot of them you can't, you know. But, you know, some of the people that come from other countries are some of that are coming from other countries are less likely to tip, depending on what country it is, or what area of the world it is. Some of them don't, some of them just, that isn't part of their culture to tip. And some of them are just asswads and don't tip. I don't normally I don't judge their rating by whether or not they tip. But then again, that's me. So, everybody watching Extreme Health, Excellent Health, I am going to pop into the big staple and see if I can grab a SD card. Answer a buddy of mine. All right, so here we go. Y'all want to come along? There's nobody there, nobody watching. Let's go in and see how ridiculous Staples is on their SD cards that they have. Damn, I'm warm. Rock and roll, coochie coo. Been a while since I've been to old Staples. No solicitation. Service animals only, please. Hello.
where they keep this.